in Thiruparankundram, which is a city next to Madurai, which is like 7 kilometers from Madurai, there's a hill in the city of Thiruparankundram, okay? Now, at the base of the hill is the Muruga temple. It's the Murugan temple, right? So you actually have a bunch of different temples along this hill. Now, basically, at the top of this hill, you have a dargah, Sikandar dargah. For those who don't know what a dargah is a Sufi shrine. It's not a mosque. Here, so Karthigai is a month in the Tamil calendar. It's a shrine for a Sufi saint. Yes, dargahs are not mosques. Yes, dargahs are where Sufi saints are buried. This is actually, generally speaking, it's a tomb. You'll see why I'm saying all of this. What's happening is, so in the Tamil calendar, there is a month called Karthigai. I think it's called Kartika or whatever in other languages. And also the Tamil calendar shifted like 1 month, right? I think a lot of Indian calendars start with like, what was it? Vaisakhi or Visaga or whatever it's called. We start with Chittirai, generally speaking. Depending on who you ask, we either start with Tai or we start with Chittirai. And then we go Vaigasi. So this is Karthigai, right? We're in the month of Karthigai. In the month of Karthigai, every single year in this city next to Madurai, what happens is there is, generally speaking, a ceremony where this pillar, people from this temple walk up this hill to go light this light, basically. Now, what happened this year was that the temple said, you know what, we don't want to do it. For whatever reason. They are just like, they didn't want to do it originally. And so what happened was, this was specifically misinterpreted because most of the temples in Tamil Nadu are administered by the DMK, or they're not administered by the DMK. They're administered by the Tamil Nadu government, which is currently run by the DMK, which, by the way, if you've ever gone to Tamil Nadu and you've ever gone to a temple in Tamil Nadu, you'll understand why the government running the temples is a good thing, because our temples are run better than any other state. Not even close. Yeah, our emblem, we are called the land of temples. It's the state which regulates the temples. Yes. You can probably imagine why Brahmins do not like the Tamil Nadu government running the temples. So this temple, the Subramanya Swami temple, right, the Murugan temple was like, all right, whatever. Like, we don't want to do the Karthigai Deepam this time around for reasons. And I don't know the specific reason why, but my understanding is it has nothing to do with this dargah at the top. For whatever reason, they just didn't want to do it. What Sanghis have decided to do this entire time is basically say, hey, look, at the base of this temple is this Murugan temple. At the top of this hill is this dargah. And these Muslims, they don't want us to basically light this deepam. They don't want us, these bloody Muslims don't want us to light the deepam. Which, by the way, like, there are plenty of Muslims in Tamil Nadu that were like, no, let them do it. What are you doing? Here you go. And let me guess, the Muslims don't really have a problem with it. There are probably some Muslims that have a problem with it, but they're definitely not the majority. This is a nothing burger.
Tamil Nadu has ignited a political fire. Tiruchi Shiva, DMK leader, joins us now. Mr. Shiva, how do you look at the incident that is happening in Thiruparankundram and the fact that the court is saying that lighting of the fire is not just necessary but also symbolic?
It's not lighting of fire, it's lighting a lamp. Deepam, they call it as a ritual or conventional, a religious related matter. See, we are very clear, either the DMK party or our allies or the Tamil Nadu government is not against the conventions of any religion. So when there was a dispute which arose in that concerned place, one section of the portion is belonging to Muslims and another is Hindus. That was a dispute. And when the court looked into it, it has been for years that that place cannot be encroached. And in 2014, a petition was filed.
The arguments that I've heard is that Sanghis often claim that DMK is partial towards other faiths more than their own. They claim that they've destroyed temples. I'm going to drop a truth bomb on you, okay? The core of BJP's support in Tamil Nadu are Tamil Brahmins. There is no caste in Tamil Nadu that is more loyal to BJP than Tamil Brahmins. They're not loyal. The truth is they see BJP as a vehicle for reinstituting Brahmin law. Because if that's the case, then the only people who care are terminally online Northeast. So is this an issue which is just in the media, or do we see any ground support? Why is that a truth bomb? Everyone knows it. Let me rephrase what I'm trying to say. So Brahmins make up a tiny percentage of India's population to begin with. But it is even more stark in Tamil Nadu's case, right? Tamil Nadu only has about 2% Brahmins, 1 to 2% Brahmins. And in fact, Brahmins, ever since Periyar, have been on this like they've been trying to basically get back into political power. Like without, Jayalalitha kind of counted. I mean, there were two Tamil Brahmins that were okay, and Dosa also said this, and Brahmins think that they're being persecuted in Tamil Nadu while leading relatively opulent lives. If Brahmins were being persecuted in Tamil Nadu, we would not have had 2 Tamil Brahmin chief ministers. If Brahmins were that persecuted in Tamil Nadu, do you think that Tamils would ever accept not 1, but 2 Brahmin chief ministers? No, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. Brahmins, I made a tweet about this. Hold on a second. Brahmins are mad that they can't enslave Tamil Nadu anymore. They're mad that a good chunk of Tamil Nadu has finally gotten their self-respect. We're going to pull up Karthigai Deepam.
The worst possible.
Tambram, not from Tamil Nadu, crying like a little baby that he can't enslave everyone in Tamil Nadu and get free land like his ancestors used to. Jayalalitha was worshipped in Tamil Nadu. Yeah. Also, one of the Tambram chief ministers had a fucking cult of personality around her. Like, I know people that were like, I hate Tamil Brahmins, generally speaking, quote unquote. I generally don't like Tamil Brahmins, but I love Jayalalitha. Like, what do you mean? Because she's a woman chief minister? No, it's because she's not DMK, that's why.
Secessionist movement in this country is not the Kashmiri movement, is not the Khalistani movement, it is the Dravidinist movement, and there is a reason for it. Kashmiris picked up the gun, or Kashmiri Muslims picked up the gun, making it possible for us to identify the problem. Dravidinists continue to be part of the democratic ecosystem. So you don't see them as a problem because you think they don't resort to violence. They do, but in controlled spurts. But the rest of the game is played by taking over institutions.
He's not entirely wrong about the DMK resorting to political violence every now and then. He's not entirely wrong about that. Because again, just like any political party, every political party in India is going to have a bunch of armed thugs. Every single political party has armed thugs. But if we're going to play this game about political violence, resorting to political violence, what about the RSS and VHP and Sangh Parivar, you dumb the RSS, what about VHP? How many anti-Muslim lynchings do we see every day? How many Dalit people do we see lynched every single day by the folks you support? That is what you're talking about is controlled at best in controlled spurts in Tamil Nadu against other political parties. The people you support commit violence against innocent civilians on a grand scale across the entire country. Assamese Sanghis have been assaulting Bengali Muslims. They have been murdering Bengali Muslims left and right. Karthigai Deepam defines political violence as violence committed by parties he doesn't support. If you question him on RSS, VHP, BJP, if you ask him about any of these anti-Muslim pogroms, if you ask him about any of these things, he'll support them. He'll be like, yes, we need to. He won't. I don't know if he'll openly say like, yes, genocide against Muslims today. I don't know if Karthigai Deepam will openly say on camera that India needs to commit a Holocaust of Muslims, a televised Holocaust of Muslims. I don't know if he needs. I don't know if he'll actually say that on camera, but I know for a fact he thinks it. And also, he wants to engage in upholding Brahminical hegemony in Tamil Nadu. He wants the Brahmins to come back to power in Tamil Nadu. He wants Manusmriti in Tamil Nadu. Manusmriti is enforced at the barrel of a gun or at the edge of a sword. Caste is a violent political structure that this man supports. So who the hell is he to talk about, oh, DMK is violent, DMK is violent, DMK is violent, DMK is violent? No, he just does not like non-Brahmin Tamils being in power. That's it.
So the game is played.
This man barely speaks Tamil. I speak better Tamil than him.
By taking over institutions, academic institutions, media institutions, political institutions, and finally the end goal, religious institutions of Hindus alone. It is the worst possible form of cancer that could have ever afflicted, because the Kashmiri problem is a problem since 700 AD.
The Kashmiri problem, quote unquote, is a problem since 700 AD. Chat, he's talking about Kashmiris converting to Islam. That's what he's talking about here. He's calling for genocide. Yeah, yes. This is as close as he will admit it on camera. He won't say like, no, we need to build. He will never admit to saying, no, we need to build gas chambers. People think for some reason the Kashmiri people living today aren't real Kashmiri because they're all Muslims. It's not about whether you're real Kashmiri or not. Where's a comment that I'm looking for? Cope, little bro, you are forgetting that Tamil culture, language, literature, history, none of it would have existed without the Brahmins. We gave you poop slinger civilization, and you should be grateful that the rest of the world doesn't see your Tamil country as a center of subhumanity. I mean, aside from the fact I'm mildly autistic looking for friends, well, surviving the male loneliness epidemic, well, I mean, it says all you need to say. But I mean, this is, the reason I say this is, it has always been about enforcing Brahminical rule / North Indian rule over Tamil Nadu. Because if you actually look at the religiosity of Tamil Nadu, 89% of the state are what we would call Hindus. Mostly Shaivites with a minority of Vaishnavites, right? That's what the game has always been. It's always been wanting to impose Sharma Ji Ka Beta's rule over us. That's what they've always wanted to do. They've always wanted to impose that over Tamil Nadu. That's why every few months we have to have this stupid conversation. I mean, North Indians and Tamil Brahmins, every few months we have to have this conversation about Hindi imposition, because it is Tamil Brahmins, Brahmin Tamils, Tam Brahms, who identify not with their Tamil culture primarily, but with the Indian state and this Hindu religion or whatever, right? This Hindu religion, as Ambedkar said, as Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar said, there's no such thing as Hinduism other than a bunch of different castes. Hinduism is nothing but a collection of castes. These Tamil Brahmins, who do not identify with the Tamil populace to begin with, they identify with the Indian state primarily. They identify with this Manusmriti more than they identify with the local indigenous traditions of Tamil Nadu. And so they've wanted to impose their rule again. And now that Tamil Nadu has managed to become a state that is developed, you know, Tamil Nadu has several castes. I mean, I've talked about the multiple different cases of caste violence in Tamil Nadu against Dalit people. But the difference between Tamil Nadu and the north is that the UCs of Tamil Nadu are almost entirely Brahmins. The style of caste oppression is slightly different in Tamil Nadu, because there's also that antagonism between Tamil Nadu Tam Brahms with the rest of the population. They identify with centralized power, the pyramid structure. Exactly.
So it is identifiable and it is an external problem.
Yeah, I mean, he's calling for genocide here. I mean, he's saying like, yeah, we need to deal with the Kashmiris. We need to deal with the problem.
This is a problem which is internal in that particular sense because it has entrenched itself. It is the Trojan that has been introduced into the mind of the Hindu civilization. I
recently found out there's lots of anti-Telugu sentiment in Tamil Nadu. People, they don't like our secret. This is an NTK thing. That's an NTK thing. Naam Tamlar Kachi. Naam Tamlar Kachi has been peddling this idea. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but Naam Tamlar Kachi has been peddling this idea that both the DMK and the Rajapaksas in Sri Lanka come from the same ethnic group, right? They're both Telugus ultimately, which doesn't make any sense. What happened was Sumandraman decided to open his fucking mouth. The High Court has given an order permitting the lighting of the lamp at a particular place. You don't want to accept it and so challenge it, fine. When there's no stay granted by any court, then the order must be obeyed. When the court is specifically allowed it again in the evening to prevent the court order from being obeyed, it is contempt. The court ordered allowed 10 people. That crowd from the videos trying to push past the barriers was way more than 10. The BJP tried to convert it into a violent mob, staking claim on the place, and was rightly stopped. Staking claim on a place, you are deliberately misrepresenting what I said. Bringing masses of supporters to light a lamp in Dargah premises is symbolically staking a claim in the public eye. So basically, what is happening is that the BJP saw this tiny little thing in Tamil Nadu and decided to seize upon it. And they decided, you know what? Let's create a communal issue out of it. Let's try and turn this into Babri Masjid 2.0. So what Sumandraman and all these Tambrams are coming out and saying is that why aren't you just letting the Karthigai Deepam be lit? Why aren't you letting the Karthigai Deepam be lit? And they're framing this, where is it? They're framing this, which is a bunch of BJP goons in Tamil Nadu basically trying to push past the barrier and create a communal issue, right? They're painting these guys, right? These are not normal temple goers, right? This is a specific set of goons. This is a set of like thugs sent by the BJP to cause trouble, right? Because normal people at the Murugan Koil normal Murugan Koil, like temple goers, don't say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. They don't say this normally. So police had to show up because the BJP had sent thugs to cause trouble. And so these Tambrams, these Tamil Brahmins are looking at this and they're seeing an opportunity. This matter eventually got sent to the Madras High Court. And then obviously the Nuliban at the Nuliban at the High Court was like, all right, we need to, this is a matter of utmost urgency. We need to allow the Karthigai Deepam to be lit. And the entire thing is them framing these goons as average pilgrim goers, when in reality, that's not what's happening. This is the RSS BJP causing trouble on purpose. Like, this is a Murugan Koil. What the fuck are they saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai for? What the fuck are they saying Jai Shri Ram for? This is a Murugan Koil. This is a Murugan temple. These are RSS functionaries. These are Nazi functionaries. BJP is trying to call this, they're calling this Ayodhya of the South. They're trying to basically make the Sikandar Dargah at the top of the hill Babri Masjid 2.0. So they're calling the police that is sent there to stop this mob, by the way, they're trying to do in Tamil Nadu what they did in UP, what they successfully got away with in UP. That's what they're trying to do now. Has the DMK pushed back? The DMK has let this play out. There are lots of things I dislike about the DMK. Their treatment of Elam Tamils, their treatment of Dalit people, the most marginalized in Tamil Nadu as well. There are lots of things to hate about the DMK, right? They're also a liberal party, neoliberal party, classism, casteism. There's lots of things to hate about the DMK. But there's one thing that they're extremely good at. They're very good at this shit, which is playing politics, which is why Karthigai Deepam is super scared. Union busting, they also engaged in union busting. DMK also tried to set the hours to like the working hours to 12 hours. They're anti-worker as well. They didn't properly compensate sanitation workers. They're trying to fuck over sanitation workers in China. There's a litany of issues that the DMK has. However, there is one thing that you can't say that the DMK is bad at, and that is letting shit like this play out and let things be handled as they are. Like, the DMK is very good at playing politics, which is why Karthigai Deepam is super scared. The main reason is that DMK has sort of let this play out and let the BJP and RSS be painted in a horrible light. This is one of the few cases where I'm like, all right, police, you're doing your job. Nice job. Very nice job, police. Alka had a take, which I don't know if I agree with, where Alka basically says, I half agree with him on this. I don't know how much denial is a river in Egypt, except the fact that Sanghis have won the case and have made their ulterior notions surface by far. The left's popular belief of Tamil Nadu is down the drain, and this incident is proof that Periyar soil is eroding. I don't know if I agree with this entirely. And I think the reason, again, it comes back to Tamil Nadu has constantly been at loggerheads with the North. We have always seen BJP and every non-local Dravidian party as an imposition of North Indian Brahminical imposition upon us. I think there's a kernel of truth in what Alka is saying. So I don't know if it's entirely true, whether they won this round, right? Because people don't like BJP. They don't like this shit, right? And they haven't won immediately. I don't disagree that, yes, BJP is setting up for the long game. My concern is that the BJP is setting up for the long game. The Supreme Court recently overturned its own judgment of putting a timeline on governors to approve bills. The center will not let the DMK pass bills and will actively destroy the existing social nets. This is the kind of opportunity BJP is trying to create, where the material conditions in Tamil Nadu worsen under the DMK, and they can capitalize it first through the ADMK and then on their own. Yep, if at max ADMK can bag, not BJP. No, the moment ADMK has any sort of power, it's over. Like, let's just take a look at Bihar, for example. The BJP completely cannibalized the JDU. They completely threw Nitish Kumar out. Because JDU was no longer necessary for them to gain power. I mean, rigging the election did a lot for them as well, but they also basically made JDU completely irrelevant. So, I mean, ADMK is the ADMK is BJP. You can't really compare Bihar with Tamil Nadu though. Yeah, you can. It's not about comparing Bihar with Tamil Nadu. It's about comparing the electoral strategy. It's talking about the pattern that the BJP uses to take power in places where they previously had not had power before. No, he's the CM, but they rigged it in a way where Nitish can't form a government with the opposition. Same thing with MH. That's their game plan with Tamil Nadu as well. Is he CM? No, he's not the CM. Oh, is he the CM now? Oh, he did. Okay, he is the CM. Never mind. Okay, I was wrong. Okay, I thought they threw him out already. Okay, well, I guess they realize they still need him. I mean, the moment Nitish Kumar serves his purpose and is no longer relevant, they will throw him out, though. I assume BJP's game plan for Tamil Nadu's election rigging are temples, and for Kerala riots. I mean, this is a riot, like what they try to do here. What they try to do here is a riot. Newtonstein, the other thing that you're forgetting about Tamil Nadu is that they're also trying to impose president's rule. I predicted this long ago, but they're not going to win Tamil Nadu fair and square. It is impossible for these guys to win, for BJP RSS to win Tamil Nadu fair and square. You cannot talk shit about Periyar in Tamil Nadu. You can easily talk shit about Ayodhi Das in Tamil Nadu. You can talk shit about Ambedkar in Tamil Nadu, but you cannot talk shit about Periyar in Tamil Nadu. They didn't win Bihar fair either, Haryana. They haven't won any state fairly.